Time to add some brown sugar. Now, I know in some recipes they'll add like a whole big cup of sugar. Ooh, what is this? This isn't sugar. Is this ginger? Oh my God. What? This is ginger. Guys, I must be losing it. Well, hey everyone, it's been a while since I cooked something for my recipe playlist, and it's the first time I can face the camera head on in front of this nice island instead of turning sideways, putting the camera at weird angles. That was always a very hard thing to set up, especially when the kitchen countertop is usually cluttered enough as it is. So this will be just great, except that it's not really an island. It's my ironing board. Of course, I'm just using this for the video. I don't have it set up all the time because if I did, what would happen? Rocky would be jumping up here and then he would jump on the countertop and burn his little paws on the stovetop. So we certainly don't want that. Well, today I'm going to be showing you how I make bread pudding. Any other recipe that I've ever seen is very high in sugar, very high in fat. Mine will be just the opposite, but it will still taste good. I saw this bread 50% off, and I have not bought white bread in ages, but it's very hard for me to resist a bargain. And when I squeezed it, it seemed like it was quite fresh, and I got it home, and I think I've only eaten 2 slices out of it. And this is like about a week later, maybe not quite a week, but when you make bread pudding, they suggest that you use stale bread because it will soak up the milk better. And so I thought, well, what a perfect bread to use to make bread pudding, which I also have not done in months. Okay, we have to chop up the bread, and I don't have a really big pan, and I'm only going to make it for like maybe 2 or 3 portions. 2 portions if you're really hungry, and maybe 3 or 4 portions if you're a little bit more just for a snack. So just cut the bread into cubes. My hands are clean, by the way. I think you can also just tear it up with your hands like this. This is kind of a spur of the moment thing, but if I didn't do this now, God only knows when I will make bread pudding again. So there it is. I think I'll add a couple more pieces. Next thing is I'll beat 2 eggs, just like that. I happen to be using cow's milk today, but I haven't tried it with oat milk or almond milk or any other nut milk, but I'm pretty sure it would work out just as well. 1 cup of milk. Mix it with the eggs. Now I could have just put the eggs in this bowl and then added the milk. That would have made more sense. So a little bit of cinnamon, depending on how much you like cinnamon. Just because I have it on hand and it brings out a nice flavor, I'm also going to add a little bit of grated nutmeg. Just a very tiny bit because the fresh nutmeg is really quite potent. This is artificial vanilla extract. I don't know what the difference is between the real vanilla extract and the artificial. So other than the price, which I think it's about $15 now for a tiny little bottle smaller than this. Unless I win a lottery or something, I think I'll just stick with the artificial. If anyone could tell me if it makes the big difference, then please let me know if it's worth the money. I very rarely use vanilla anyway. So mix it all together. You can see that I'm totally unprepared and this really is spur of the moment. I will try to edit it so that it's much, much shorter. I found my brown sugar. I pulled out ginger by mistake. So the all the brown sugar I'm going to add is like a heaping tablespoon. And I think that is plenty. I did think ahead enough to melt a little bit of butter. This is real butter, which I think will give it a nice flavor without adding a lot of calories, because it's really not that much. It might have been like a tablespoon. So I'm just using a little loaf pan like this. It's well buttered. I'm gonna drizzle it all over, evenly over the breadcrumbs. Now, because I didn't add that much milk, now some people put double of the amount in, and then it makes it very puddingy, but I like it a little bit on the firm side. So, oh my gosh, I forgot to add the raisins. Okay, I had like a 1/4 cup of raisins that were supposed to be added into the bread. And because I like things crunchy, I'm going to put some chopped almonds on top of bread pudding. And maybe I'll add just a little bit more milk, because it does look kind of on the dry side. I think you just have to go by what it looks like and how you want it to turn out, on the firm side or on the little bit mushy side. Looks pretty good. And now I will put it in the oven for 26 minutes and we'll see how it looks when it comes out. And while I have these bananas here, let me tell you a little known fact I just found out about bananas last week. You know that I make these banana cookies that use just 2 ingredients. You can see the recipe in my recipes playlist, but I did not know that 1 banana, I would say a medium banana and a ripe one at that, is the equivalent to 5 teaspoons of sugar. So that's why when you make these cookies, you really don't have to add any sugar. Although sometimes I'll sprinkle a little bit of chocolate chips on top. But as I said, look at my recipe. It's in the playlist. I think I even have 2 recipes for that, because the first time I made it, they took twice as long to make as my current recipe. So there it is. It looks pretty good. I had to add another 10 minutes, by the way, for a total of 36 minutes. Nice and crunchy on top. I love the nuts on top as well. So good.